Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to be reviewing Arc of Infinity, which I've just watched on the wonderful Season 20 box set, which finally arrived. I've always liked Arc of Infinity. It's an underrated story. I still believe that. It had been a while since I watched it. I do own the DVD as well. So this was nice to have a nice refresher of it, because a lot of it I'd forgotten aside from the ending. Nyssa was great in this. I absolutely love Nyssa in this story. She gets stuff to do. Nyssa gets things to do. I don't get to say that a lot. She gets technical stuff a lot in the first episode when she's kind of talking with the doctor and helping him repair the TARDIS. She gets her, because Nyssa's smart, like Zoe, like Liz, Shaw. So it's nice to get some of that at the beginning. We get action Nyssa a lot. Nyssa shoots a lot of people. She also shoots the Ergon. I like that. She kind of screams when she sees it. Boy, Sarah Sutton's got a good scream on her too. We don't get to see Nyssa scream a lot. But in part 4, when the Ergon comes out, she gets a really good Who Girl companion scream in. And then while the doctor's fighting it, gets his gun and shoots it. It's nice to see Nyssa get stuff to do. I love the location work in Amsterdam. It looks nice. We get a lot of it in part 4 when we pretty much get the foot chase after Omega, which is nice. I enjoy watching Omega's gradual disintegration, basically, when transfer fails and he starts basically disintegrating. I think it's pulled off effectively, especially the switch from Peter Davison to the other actor, because since he's disintegrating, it makes sense his features would change. I actually like that. The fact that the doctor is forced to shoot him, which we know the doctor does not like doing, using a gun. I mean, you can tell he's hesitant to do it, but the fact he has to save, that side of the universe, basically. The location work was good, especially considering it's not the original film elements. It looks really, really good. I enjoyed that. I wouldn't mind visiting Amsterdam. That seems like a fun place. Well, from its reputation, I hear it's a fun place. I love the ending with Tegan finding out Tegan got fired. Somehow fails to surprise me. I love when she says that to the doctor. It looks like you're stuck with me. And whatever the doctor says there, yep, looks that way. I guess so. Or whatever it is he says. It's the way he says it with that kind of, yep, I guess I am. He kind of gets this look on his face like, joy. And I don't know how much of that's the Fifth Doctor and how much of that's Peter Davison. Because Sarah and Peter and Janet have such a wonderful relationship where they squabble. You can just see Peter Davison over there. Oh, I'm stuck with Janet. Great. That shot of the doctor, that last shot for the credits is just great, and I loved it. Again, I'm glad we didn't get too much of the two teenage guys in the episode 4. They're more in the first half of the story. I don't really think much of them. I do enjoy the stuff going on with the Time Lords. The guy playing Barussa's fine. He's probably my least favorite Barussa, but he's fine. And Barussa as a character is really good in this story. Of course, it's a shame we don't get any Michael Gough in part 4, since he died at the end of part 3. But I do love having Michael Gough back. I like Michael Gough as an actor, so I very much enjoyed him being in the story, playing a Time Lord. You can understand. It does a good job of showing his motivations for why he's doing the things he's doing in the story, and his reasoning for it and all of that. That's easy to understand, even if you don't agree with it. The guy playing Omega is good. I like how Omega is more reserved in the story. He's not quite so bombastic for the most part in this one. The actor playing him reins him in, and to me that works. I think I actually might prefer his performance in this story over how he's performed in the Three Doctors. His costume is fine. I've never had a problem with Omega's costume. It needs to be different to keep the secret of who he is, which we don't find out till close to the end of episode 3. It's a great way to bring Omega back. And the ending of it is still to the point where you can still bring Omega back. I mean, I'm sure he's come back in the audios many times. But if they ever wanted to bring him back to the show, I feel like it would work. This doesn't feel like a definitive end to me. And I like that. The updated effects are great. I think maybe that's one of the reasons why this story really holds up. I like the story itself. I've always liked Arc of Infinity. Arc of Infinity is one of those stories where I never quite understand why people don't like it. You hear that everybody has that Doctor Who story when somebody says they don't like it. You're always like, Like some stories I get, I can understand why people have complaints of, say, Colony in Space, which I like. Or even some of the arguments made against Genesis, that maybe it's overly long, the stuff with Sarah isn't quite as good. I can at least understand them, even if I don't agree with them. Although the stuff with Sarah and Genesis is a little... or when people say they don't like Caves as much, I find Caves a little overrated, but still think Caves is great, amazing. But this is one of those stories, much like, say, Revenge of the Cybermen or something, where when people say they don't like it, I'm like, why? It's such a good story. The location work looks good. Davison's putting in a good performance. Davison is putting in a good performance. I wish we'd gotten more of Maxwell. I don't think we get much of Maxwell in episode 4. He was putting in a really good performance in episode 3. By the time I got to episode 3, I had adjusted to Colin being Maxwell. Because right when you first see him as Maxwell, it's a little weird to adjust to because you're so used to him being the 6th Doctor, especially since he's kind of acting like the early 6th Doctor. But by episode 3, I was adjusted to him being a different character and him following orders and all of that. I've talked about Maxwell in some of the other reviews. But I think Colin's putting in a good performance as Maxwell here. I like a lot of what's going on in this story. I like the set designs. They look fine. But I wonder if some people's complaints are just the effects. Because the original effects aren't great. They're fine. But they're not great. The laser blast, some of the teleports, they're classic Who effects. The updated effects from the DVD release, which of course are also on the Blu-ray, are great. I think they're a drastic improvement. I really like them. You guys know I love some updated laser effects for Classic Who. I love updated laser effects, and this story has updated laser effects. I love that. The teleport effects, when the sky turns pink, or the overhead when Omega's trying to transfer. There's a lot of updated effects I really like in this story. And maybe that's one of the reasons why it holds up so well to me. Besides just liking the story, liking the cast, liking the location work. The incidental music's good too. There's only a handful of standout moments, but it's never bad. And then the updated effects really, they're updated while still matching just fine with a 1983 Doctor Who story. I like everything that's going on in this story. It's a great way to bring Omega back while doing something different with him, while still leaving the door open for him to come back. Nyssa has stuff to do. It's nice to kind of have an episode to see what we would have gotten if we just had the Doctor and Nyssa, because they're not really with Tegan much. This really is just the Doctor and Nyssa, and we don't really get that, so it's kind of nice to get that. I mean, Spare Parts kind of did that too, and a lot of people like Spare Parts. So it's nice to see Nyssa have kind of a story where she gets to do stuff instead of being relegated as this character that's just kind of there, which she is sadly a lot. And Tegan is used well for the amount of the story she's in, and she still very much feels like Tegan. So I like this. Everybody's putting in good performances. I don't understand the criticisms for this story at all. At all. So, Arc of Infinity. It's fantastic. It's not just good, it's fantastic. Is it a classic? I would say no. Is it essential viewing? No, except for Nyssa. It is essential viewing for Nyssa. If you like Nyssa, you have to watch this one. So I don't think it's necessarily a classic, and certainly not essential viewing, but it's really good. Not just good, I'd call it great. I really enjoyed this. It's not something I would rewatch again anytime soon, but I could see myself rewatching it next year to go through it. It's not one I'd have to wait 7 years to rewatch like some of the modern stuff coming out now. But it's a good, great story. So the Arc of Infinity, what do you think of it? Comment down below and let me know. Do you not like it? Do you like it? Do you think it's underrated? Do you think it deserves its reputation? I'm curious to hear what you think. Have you seen it with the updated effects? If not, watch it with the updated effects. It makes a big difference in the execution of the story. Anyway, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button and the bell for notifications. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me on that. That does help me keep the bills paid. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their support. As I do the support of all of my patrons, it makes a big difference. I also have YouTube memberships available if you're interested in that. My P.O. box is down there in the description if there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review. A link to my Amazon wish list is down there as well. Most importantly, Thank you for watching.